Keywords, search terms. What are keywords? These are words or phrases that a person is going to type into Amazon to try to find a particular topic or a genre of a book or whatever it is that they're looking for. In the search bar, they'll type in a word or a phrase to help them find what they're looking for. Keywords are needed at the time of uploading your book into KDP, so you're going to want to have all of this research done in advance before you're ready to go out and publish your book, because you're not going to be able to publish your book without them. Just for a little comparison, nonfiction keywords are going to be a little bit different than fiction keywords. The nonfiction keywords tend to pull on a person's heart a little bit. It appeals to their emotions, maybe touches on the problem that they're going through, some pain point, or maybe it's a dream. Maybe they want to start a business. And so you're going to find keywords that they would be searching out on how to start a business. It can offer results. You are targeting your specific reader. So you might be targeting parents, moms, teachers, whatever it is. So a keyword might have some word like that in it. It's more personal in a way because nonfiction books are based on truth. Therefore, all your keywords are going to really be associated with that in some way. Whereas fiction, as we know, is make-believe. And so your keywords are going to be more like the plot, the characters, timelines, time periods, settings, things like that. I'm not a big fiction reader, but if you are, you know what those keywords might be, Elizabethan age or something like that, or sci-fi, some type of sci-fi, things like that. Those are more for fiction. How many keywords do you need? Well, in KDP, when you're setting up your book, there's 7 fields that they give you. So there's 7 keyword fields. But in those 7 fields, you can have up to 50 characters. Not words, characters. You don't need to use them all, but you can have up to 50. You can also have multiple words, single words, in a field, or you can have a phrase in a field. You don't really want to mix the two. And I'm not going to go deep into that in this video. I talk about that more in the setup process. So as you are searching for your keywords, you want to find as many keywords as possible. I would say 50 to 100 keywords if possible. The reason for that is because you can have multiple words in a field. So you might have 3 words in one field. And also because if you want to ever change out some of those keywords, now you have like a library of different keywords that you can go back to and look up to see what you might want to change it out from. Having a library of 50 to 100 words is going to help you out. It gives you data to look at and to choose from. If you're publishing multiple formats of your book, such as an ebook and a paperback, then you also want to try to use different keywords in the formats. So let's say you have all your keywords chosen for your ebook, you don't want to use all of the exact keywords for the paperback. You want to use some of them, the most relevant ones, but then try to change it up a little bit and put a few different ones into the paperback one. This just gives you more exposure. So if they don't find you through the ebook, then they might find you through the print book. So you're going to want to change it up. So it's another reason to try to find as many keywords as possible. Keep in mind the keywords are descriptive words. They are words to help somebody who is doing a search to find your topic, to find something related to your topic that would relate to your book. It needs to be relevant to your book, but think of them as descriptive words. If you're describing your book to somebody, what are some of the things you're going to say about it? There's the most obvious ones, but what about some that might be a little bit more obscure or not used as often, or phrases? So there's a lot of combinations that you should be able to come up with. Out on KDP, this is what the fields look like. So you see you have 7 fields here, and in each one of these is where you have those 50 characters. Now, before you get started with your search, I want to recommend that you start an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Doc, or whatever software you like to use to track things. I want you to start a spreadsheet. This is going to help you analyze the keywords. It's going to help you keep track of what you've used and what you haven't used yet. And it's just going to be very helpful for you as you go forward. How do you find the keywords? There are 3 main ways to look for keywords on Amazon. The first is to do the manual approach by going out to Amazon directly and just searching for keywords, and I will demo that here in a moment. The other is to use some sort of AI like ChatGPT to give suggested keywords. And then the software publisher Rocket, which is a tool that you can use that will save you lots of time, many hours of searching. It's a very helpful tool and it's very affordable. At the time of making this video, it's $199 for a lifetime access to it. They do lots of updates to make sure it is the most current, and you get those for free. You never have to pay another thing after that. If you do not have it and you want to get it, I ask that you would please use my affiliate link here, bit.ly/publisher rocket tools. It's bit.ly/publisher rocket tools, and I'll leave the link below this video in the members site as well. Okay, so the first one I'm going to demo is, I think I'll go to ChatGPT and show you what you can do there. And then I'll do the manual approach, and then I will do Publisher Rocket. So the manual approach will be in a separate video, and then the Publisher Rocket tool will be in a separate video as well, just to keep the videos shorter and you can choose which one you want to go to. So in this video, I'm going to go over ChatGPT. Okay, before I get to ChatGPT, I wanted to show you a spreadsheet that I have for one of my books. I've got the keyword here, and all this other stuff you can ignore for now because that's not going to apply for this video. But this is my spreadsheet, and we're going to start a new one here. And as you find keywords, then you can add them to a spreadsheet. Okay, so let's go out to ChatGPT. If you don't have an account, you can go out and set one up. They have a free account and a paid account, or if you have some other AI tool, you can use that. So whatever you want to use, it doesn't matter. But if you do want to use AI, I'm going to just demo ChatGPT, and it will work basically the same on any other AI tool. So you're going to type in your question. I've already done this just to save a little time. So I'm going with the topic of grief due to suicide. So I put in here, as my prompt, I'm writing a book about grief because of losing someone to suicide. I need to find keywords that I can use when I upload my book to Kindle Direct Publishing. Can you give me a list of 50 words that may relate to this book? Keep in mind the broad spectrum of all the things associated to this, such as mental health, support, etc. Be comprehensive in your search, but relevant. And then it comes back, I'm so sorry for your loss. So it's interesting how it picks up on that. It's almost human-like in some ways. But here's what it came back with. So here is keywords related to grief and loss. So you've got grief, loss of a loved one, grieving process, coping, so forth. Then there's suicide-specific keywords, and you can see they gave 10 keywords that relate to that. Mental health and emotional support, the keywords related to that. Support and encouragement, there's 10 more. And then book market, intent-based keywords. These would be, I think what they're saying is if you're going to do marketing, these might be keywords you want to use for marketing. So these are some different keywords. And what you can do is, I think we'll just try to copy and paste these. Doesn't necessarily work real well, but you can do that. Just copy and paste them over, or just manually type them in, whatever. Or you can just print that out, however you want to do that. But that is one way you can find some keywords. And then, if you don't like what it gave you or you want more, you can just ask it for more. Can you give me a few more from a different approach? And whatever that means. Right. So can you give me a few more from a different approach? So here you go. Relationship to the person lost, losing a child to suicide. I mean, that would be a keyword I could see somebody typing in. Grieving a sibling's suicide. Parent died by suicide. So I can actually see somebody typing that keyword in. Faith and spiritual, if it applies to your book. Finding God in grief. Whatever, something like that. So it doesn't always have to talk about the word grief. It doesn't always have to talk about the word suicide. It might have something to do with, faith after loss. Loss is a good word. So remembering you don't always have to use those specific words. Searches related to questions or support. Emotional and personal experiences. Discovery and encouragement. So these are some more. Broaden your horizons. Keep going. That's why I say find at least 50 to 100 and more. I mean, if you can come up with 200 or 300 words, that's great because it's going to just give you more options. So that's how you would use, an AI tool. And you can word it completely different than how I did it here. I just did that real quick. Didn't really give it a whole lot of thought. But you can play around with it, be conversational with your AI tool, whatever. And it can give you some words. And if nothing else, it might give you a jumping point. Like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. And then be able to search for more terms based on that. Or you can say, another thing you could do here is, let's pick one. All right, so let's try to expand on this, just one more example. So let's say you see something and it's given you some ideas that you never really thought of before. Okay, grief after suicide. That's not necessarily all that unique, but let's just pretend like you didn't think of that phrase or something. You could say down here, can you give me more keywords based on number 14? Sure, here we go. Let's find some more. Here are 30 more keywords. When God is silent. Yeah, I mean, some people might be questioning God during this time, right? Disappointment and wrestling with God. There you go. Actually, I think it's taking it from this one. Okay, that's great, but I meant number 14 in the first batch. So let's see if it picks up what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you might need to spell it out. Grief after suicide. It did pick it up. Okay, so yeah, if you've done multiple searches, you need to be careful about saying a number without being more specific. Intense grief after suicide, sudden death grief, heartbreak after suicide. So it can just help you come up with different terms like the word heartbreak or intense, shock, guilt, anger. Those might be things you didn't necessarily think of. And so when you just keep going deeper and deeper, and even this one up here that I did by accident, number 14 up here is when prayers go unanswered. Here's a bunch of, great terms that would go along with that. So this can be very helpful to you if you don't have like the Publisher Rocket tool, because this is a free resource. You don't get data with it, but it can help you come up with terms and at least maybe give you some more ideas. So that's using AI for your search terms. If you want to play around with that, go ahead and do that. And then in the next video, I will show you how to search for keywords manually by going out to Amazon.